Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. So today I have Morvareed Salehpour on the line, who's managing partner over at Salehpour Legal Consulting. Morvareed, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. How are you?
All is well. Happy Friday. I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Salehpour Legal Consulting. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career?
Sure. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer from a very young age. You know, law and order and some of the legal shows made it seem so fun. So it was something I worked towards, and, you know, I knew about 8 years old and kind of just worked towards that path. And it was, you know, trying to get as much knowledge as I could about the space, since I'm the first lawyer in my family. So I didn't really know any lawyers growing up. So it was something that I tried to get knowledge and, you know, interned during high school with a lawyer just to try to get some more day-to-day information.
Oh, what an amazing story. So you knew at 8 you wanted to be a lawyer. That's awesome. So, you know, there's some younger entrepreneurs, there's some people out there that are thinking about going the legal route in terms of a career. What kind of advice would you give to someone that's out there thinking about, they're still in school and they're thinking about that as a potential career path?
I think it's always important to you know, figure out if it's what you really want to do, because, you know, law school in the legal world it's a hard job. It's a hard kind of career path. So make sure it's something that you really are interested in and you want to do, because I do have, you know, classmates who realize, you know, a year or two in law school that this is not what they want to do. And at that point, you know, you have a lot of loans. So it's a more difficult time to realize this is not what you want to do versus earlier on. So get out there and get some knowledge.
No, great advice there. Let's switch it up a bit. I want to get into what you're doing over at Salehpour Legal Consulting. So first, tell me a little bit more about the firm, please.
Sure. So I come from a background in a big law firm with over 1,000 attorneys, international reach. I worked with Fortune 100 companies there. I worked on the Madoff Ponzi scheme recovery. So really great experience. And I was in firms for about 8 years. And then 2 years ago, I started my own practice, and I work with small and mid-sized businesses as outside general counsel. So I help with negotiating and drafting business contracts, tech transactions, and helping with contract disputes, going to court when parties are arguing over a contract.
So, you know, there's a lot of tech and tech entrepreneurs listening to this. Are there any kind of trends that you care to comment on in general that kind of concern that part of the field? So there's a big audience in Mountain View listening to this right now.
Sure. I mean, I like to do these legal tips workshops for entrepreneurs and businesses every couple months as well, because I think a lot of new or smaller, mid-sized businesses don't even necessarily understand the issues they should be aware of as they're starting to grow a business. So one of the top issues I see very often is people, unfortunately, cutting costs on legal on the front end and not getting the appropriate contracts in place. And that really ends up hurting them in several situations. You know, I've had situations where clients didn't have a written contract, so things went wrong, you know, a year or two down the road. Then they were in court spending, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees where they could have spent, you know, a couple thousand on the front end to resolve that issue.
Why do you think this happens? I'm just curious, because I hear these stories all the time, and I mean, you just have a unique vantage point, because ideally you're getting people on the front end, so they're using your services to get it, so they don't get into that situation. But then obviously they're coming to you also when they got themselves in that situation. Why do you think that happens, just in general?
Sure. I think it's a mix of factors. One, sometimes people don't have the knowledge, and that's why I think the workshops I do are a good way for people to get knowledge and understand this is not something they can just get away with by not doing it or cutting and pasting something. I also think that, unfortunately, a lot of, especially maybe first-time business owners, are cutting costs where they shouldn't be cutting costs, right? They're not putting the investment into legal, operations, accounting, where these are the areas that actually make or break your business. You can't go to for example, tech industry, you can't go to a VC firm and say, I want you to invest in my business, when you haven't invested in your own business and you don't have the appropriate agreements in place, the appropriate structure. I mean, I've even seen some of these businesses who are not, corporations, but are issuing stock. So they don't even have stock and they're issuing stock. It creates a whole mess for them. Wow,
yeah, that does sound pretty problematic, Morvareed. So if somebody is listening to this and they fall in that situation, so they're a business owner and they maybe need some contracts looked at, or they need to kind of reassess what's going on on the legal side of their spend, what's the best way for them to reach out to learn more about Salehpour Legal Consulting?
Sure, they can reach me on my website, which is my last name, SalehpourLaw.com. So that's salehpourlaw.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook with that same handle. And I'm on LinkedIn with my first and last name, Morvareed Salehpour.
And I noticed you do some speaking. So what kind of topics? Can you give us a little bit more about that too?
Sure. So I get asked to speak regularly on business law, tech law, and real estate law. So dealing with, all the kind of issues with contracts, emerging tech, and kind of issues going on in real estate. So it's pretty fun.
Awesome. Well, Morvareed, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing, both through your speaking career, of course, and also the great work at Salehpour Legal Consulting to help our business owners stay compliant and protect themselves. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Morvareed, thanks again for coming on the show.